Hi, Meenakshi. All right, where are we? December 18th. Time flies. Huh? 12th, 13th, session 13. Friday the 13th. Okay. Alrighty. So where were we? We did a basic overview of QTP. Let me not fool you by saying you're experts at QTP. You know QTP. You can find a way around it. There's a lot of learning to do, and you'll do it on the job. And we'll have one more 3-hour session that talks about things like object repository. We'll talk about object spy. We will talk about descriptive programming, how to debug a QTP program, how to step into each line of code and stuff like that. So that will be after the holidays. Okay, so let's then turn back to, okay, let's open up our syllabus to see where we stand. Oh yeah, then yesterday we started talking about some other topics. What were we talking about yesterday? We saw some test plan, we saw, yeah, we didn't see a test case, but it's pretty much the same. You've done test cases, that's pretty much it. We talked about go, no-go meetings. We talked about production checkout. We didn't talk about verification and validation. Let's talk about verification and validation. Because sometimes they ask questions about what's the difference between verification and validation in the world of QA?
Verification is something you check whether the proper design is done at the correct stage, something like that. Validation is something which is done after.
Correct.
After the development.
Correct.
Yeah, verification is just visually or like the abstraction.
Right.
Validation when you are
Exactly. I completely agree. For those people on the phone who didn't hear that, and there's a question. Deepti.
Yeah, hello.
Hi, did you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question actually about the assignments. Like, do we have to send the assignments to you, I mean the homework, or to somebody else also?
To me only. You have to send work to me.
Okay, because yesterday you forwarded that to Pranaya, so I thought might be like there is something wrong in that.
No, Pranaya only gets that because she keeps track of the scores in a spreadsheet.
So how do we know what we got as score?
Oh, it should be inside your assignment. If you've sent me an assignment, if you look inside, the top line will have your score.
Oh, but you didn't send me back anything. But
Really?
okay, so I have to open that. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
you have to
fine.
open it. Yeah. Good morning, sir. How are you? Hey, Sumit. Okay, verification ensures the product is designed. Some of you said design, right? So in there to make sure it's designed properly. Ensures the product is designed to deliver all the functionality to the customer. It typically involves reviews and meetings to evaluate documents, evaluate plans, evaluate code, requirements and specifications. Okay. This can be done by checklists or issue lists and walkthroughs and inspection meetings. So you might want to memorize this. We'll still talk about it to explain to you what it means, but this is a definition that you should memorize. And I think you have it in your, do you have it in your table of contents? Yeah. Okay. Validation ensures, when we talk about QA, we're mostly thinking about validation, because validation is actually running through the test cases to make sure the application behaves correctly. So when people think of QA, they're mostly thinking of validation, because to them it is the actual act of testing the application, actual act of going through test cases. Okay, if I input this, am I getting this output or not, right? Validation ensures the functionality is the intended behavior of the product. Validation typically involves actual testing and takes place after verification is complete. After verification is complete. Okay, so what this means is So say you have, you have your SDLC, right? Software Development Life Cycle. There's the concept, then there's the requirements, there's the design, there's the development, there's QA, there is deployment, then what? Maintenance, and then retirement, right? Excellent. So that's, you guys should have that SDLC memorized so that it just comes out like it's your mother tongue. Okay. So concept. So most of the people think, oh, this is QA, right?
QA is a verification and validation. Okay.
Well, I guess I should say acceptance testing. Let me call this accept, because that's what I think the book says, right? Book doesn't say QA, book says acceptance. So yeah, most of the acceptance testing is actual validation, which means running through the test cases to make sure the application does what it's supposed to do. But then your verification can be done all through the requirements phase, the design phase, and development phase. Because what does verification mean? Verification means that the QA team is closely inspecting the requirements, closely reading the design document, and perhaps reading code to make sure that developers are building what end users are asking, right? It's a manual activity. It's, it's looking at, it's being a part of the requirements. Sometimes you might get asked the question, why should a QA team be part of requirements? I mean, why are we wasting manpower by QA engineers sitting in requirements meeting, sitting in design meeting? Then you can say, well, because QA is not just about validation, it's also about verification. QA team should have an active role to play in the requirement design development so that they can closely follow the entire process and make sure that indeed when customer is telling the team something, the requirements team is actually understanding it. And then do you think verification should only be done by QA, or can developers also be involved? Right. So it's a joint effort, QA, developers, project managers, BAs, they are all involved in verification. Validation is typically done by the QA team. I guess so. I guess you could also call it the audit team, that the audit teams are there to make sure, that every single document out there is as per the initial concept, initial requirements. So exactly. Right. Just having the good practices in place, right? Make sure that they sign off on every, there's in the world of IT, I've talked about sign off before. At every stage there's sign off. Sign off means what? It means the important stakeholders sign off on the documents that say, yeah, this is what I agree we should be building, freezing the document, right? So if there are no sign offs on, say, the BRD, ideally the FSD should not begin. If the FSD is not signed off, ideally the design should not begin. If design is not signed off, ideally the development shouldn't begin. So it's very sign-off driven. But then some companies are a bit more sort of cool about it. Let's start on the FSD even though BRD is still being inspected by the business team. Because they want to get a jump start on it. But then there are some teams who are very, very process driven, will say, no, we'll not even start because maybe they'll come back with some major changes to the BRD. Right? So it just depends. So continuing the discussion of verification and validation. Verification is making sure the requirements document have captured the true essence of the product. Whatever is the business team wanting has been documented in the correct manner. Validation is actual testing of software through test cases to make sure the product has been coded properly. Verification is done during the course of requirement design development. This is done before code is developed. Validation can only be done after code has been developed and code has been handed to QA. Manual process can be manual or can be automated validation. Happens throughout the SDLC, happens only in the acceptance phase. So I hope that you'll be able to explain it very, very clearly to your interviewer. So senior QA engineers mostly will be involved in verification, right? Junior QA engineers are literally testers. When somebody says, I'm just a tester, I don't like that. Because tester gives the impression that you're just like a auto, like a robot who gets a test case, who, does things and who expects output. And then he says, okay, it passed or failed. But to be a true QA engineer, you need to have a little bit more knowledge about things, right? So that's where verification comes in. So you guys all have this in your books, right? Did you leave your book here yesterday? You leave your book here generally? I saw a book lying on the computer yesterday, on this computer. I don't know whose it was. No? Okay. And everybody has a book now, right? Sumit, do you have a book yet? You haven't paid yet. You're still evaluating, right? Okay. And you have a book, right? Okay, good. Alrighty. So that's verification and validation. We talked about traceability matrix. Let's talk about this one-off topic of Web 1.0. A lot of positions these days, especially Cisco positions, want people to have Web 2.0 experience. It's a buzz. Web 2.0 is the buzzword. XML was a buzzword like 4 years ago. And now, Web 2.0 is the buzzword. So let's talk a bit about, which problem? Should I move a bit? Okay. So it seems like it's, yeah. Since we did this remodeling here, did you ever see my office before it was remodeled?
In the photos.
Oh, in the photos, yeah. But it was good. That was better, you think?
This is a class.
This is a classroom kind of stuff. Yeah. So, no, it's okay. What was I talking about? Web 1.1 off topic. Yeah. Have you heard? I'm sure you've heard Web 2.0 term. Have you, Jaren? Interviews and all, but not before that. Not before coming to America. Okay. And just like phones, remember like phones till like 5 years ago, we didn't have this concept of a 3G phone. What does 3G mean? Third generation. What does that imply? When somebody says I have a 3G phone, why do they feel very happy about it? More features, definitely more features, faster, cooler. Yeah, you're right. Cooler features. A lot of slick sort of graphics on it. It's not like the boring old Nokia that we pretty much grew up with, right? Yeah, so that's what happened to the web. Web graduated from being a boring place where there are websites, you just read them and then just kind of go home. Now web has graduated to Web 2.0. So Web 2.0 just gives the impression of a very user-friendly, very user interactive, two-way communication between a web application and a user. And smart as in guessing what user will do next. Auto updatable. I don't know if there's a word like that, but I made it up. Auto updatable without users, without disturbing user experience. Without disturbing user experience. So Web 2.0 is not like one thing. Web 2.0 is just an experience. It's an experience where the web applications have become tremendously user-friendly, tremendously user-interactive. They become smart. They almost, guess what you are about to do with that application, right? Auto-updatable, which means there's a web page. It has various components, and components are updating themselves while you're just looking at them without you having to hit refresh. Usually when we have to refresh a page, we have to hit F5 or something, right? Or the refresh thing. But in Web 2.0, pages just kind of refresh themselves, even though you're just sitting looking at it. And it does not even like completely take away the page and bring it back after 2 seconds. I'm not into cricket, but I've seen people hang out at this website a lot. Is it Crick Info? It doesn't click info keep doing this like every 1 minute. It just kind of refreshes itself, but it goes away momentarily. It goes away for a second. It's not Web 2.0. That's Web 1.0. It's all it's doing is there's an HTML tag that says auto refresh and just goes back to the server and refreshes itself completely. That's very Web 1.0-ish. In Web 2.0-ish, it would be great if you have a quick info website and the entire page does not reload, but just that screen part, where the score is, it keeps updating almost like a ticker symbol. That would be Web 2.0. That's Ajax, exactly. Yeah, I was going to say then that this is implemented through Ajax. So, okay. So, okay, and then another feature of Web 2.0 is tremendous knowledge sharing. Okay. So for example, yeah, so I'll start throwing some technical terms here. Yes, Ajax, wikis, RSS, and then
Well, tremendous knowledge sharing, I would say rather blog and auto update would be RSS more like.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess RSS, yeah. Okay. And one more thing I was thinking of was, yeah, social tagging and social platforms. Social tagging. By the way, you could get a MS in Web 2.0. Seriously, you can do an MS in computer science and all about Web 2.0. You can spend 2 years studying Web 2.0. This is again just scratching the surface of it. Every topic that we cover in this class, you could get a master's in it separately. But okay, so the general feel that I want you guys to have about Web 2.0 is that, one sec. हाँ Pam, नम्रता का ना मुझे मालूम है मेरी पूरी बात हुई नम्रता से. I told her to take Brian PCS's interview at 2 o'clock. Tell I understand where PCS is coming from. Everybody's right. Okay. Oh gosh. So that's what I told Namrata. I told Namrata ki you let Kelly know that the interview with 2 o'clock interview can only go on till 2:28 p.m. and she has to have a stop at 2:30. And she would love to jump back on a call with the guy after her interview is done with Oscar. Yeah, I mean, that's what I told Namrata. So, I mean, I know it's a confusion, but I think you can just handle it in a very logical manner. Or just, yeah, and I think people will understand, yeah. They know that people are interviewing multiple places. I don't see a problem with it. Right. So 2 to 2:30 is when, so just let PCS know that, she's there from 2 to 2:30. At 2:30 she'll drop off. And let Swapna know that Oscar should call her at 2:31 p.m. Varsha. Right, So or you call Varsha and get that, completely figured out. Thank you. Bye. I hear the same story 3 times. Once from the candidate, once from one recruiter, once from another recruiter. Somebody left their breath mint here, mint refresher spray. I don't know whose it is. Okay. All right. Web 2.0. Let me just introduce Web 2.0 technologies to you one by one. And I think all of you guys have already come across it. It's just that you haven't termed it Web 2.0 so far. When I start typing for G-O-D, oh, wait, it's not doing it.
God, it's like that's enough.
No, I think maybe I need to go to, I guess. Oh, okay, so, oh, really? Okay, yeah, there you go. See, when I started typing GOD, I had Godhuli in mind, but then Google told me, are you looking for Godad? Are you looking for God of War 3? And these must be, I think these are like the latest and greatest keywords these days, which are being searched for on the web. This must be a game, like some PSP game, Lady Godiva Chocolate, Godfather's Pizza, Godzilla. But then, and then I typed the next letter. All of a sudden, oh my God, GodHatesFags.com.
God hates America.
God hates him. That is so funny. Godhra, right? See, yeah. So what is happening here? Behind the scene, what is happening? Behind the scene, this is what's happening. And let me hope I can explain to you. This is a user sitting on their browser. And of course, he's connected through the World Wide Web to Google. And he started typing G-O-D. Behind the scenes, this web page, the Google web page, is very smart. As I was typing, it went back to the server, went to the database or the millions of databases. I don't even know how Google structure is laid out, but they must have like at least thousands of databases. Picked up the most relevant search terms that start with, and how many is it doing? 10? Do we know? GOD. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. Right. So then it goes back and picks up the 10 most popular search terms, because Google at least has that information as to what are the most popular search terms, and brings them back even in the middle of the user typing it. This kind of communication is called asynchronous communication. It's called asynchronous communication between the browser and the server. Why is it called asynchronous? Do you know, Meenakshi? The user is not being stopped. See, when there's a synchronous communication, if you Google this topic, synchronous versus asynchronous communication. Suppose there is a program, program A, which is starting, right? It's executing. And then there's another program B. And say a synchronous call is made to B. A synchronous call is made to B. Walkie-talkie. All of a sudden, this particular execution stops until this finishes executing. And then when the return comes back, then the execution starts again. Okay. Execution starts again. In an asynchronous communication, say A is executing, and say an asynchronous call is made. So, call is made, but this execution keeps happening. And then when this call returns, the data is just used as and when it comes back. So that's in an asynchronous call, the user is not stopped from doing what they're doing. So that's how I want you to say. If somebody ever asks you that what does AJAX mean, we'll talk about AJAX in a second. In AJAX, there's a term called asynchronous. Asynchronous Java, JavaScript, and XML. Asynchronous means a call is made to the back-end server, but users' actions are not halted. But users' actions are not halted.
Can you just go back to
So say, there is a program A, it's executing, it's going through lines of code. And then in that line of code, there's a call to another program B. So when that call is made, A suddenly stops. It's just waiting for this call to come back. Say it takes 5 seconds. 5 seconds later, the call will come back with whatever data it needs to come back with, and then the program A will start executing again. That's called a synchronous call from A to B.
Give me an example.
Oh yeah, simple. When I am just on a,
In some web pages, when you enter some data,
Mhm.
using a password,
Right.
In some cases you might make a mistake. So during that time, you don't even know if you press a submit button.
Correct.
Suddenly, a message comes directly on the text line. This particular thing is wrong. You won't even know that the page has been refreshed.
That's asynchronous. Right. Most of the interaction you've ever had with any application is actually synchronous, because you do something, you say Kindle, and then you hit go. This is synchronous. I can't do anything until this result comes back.
But Gmail, I think, would be asynchronous because even if I'm typing, composing an email, it's still, if an email is supposed to come, it's coming. It's not waiting for me to say that, I receive all emails. Whereas when in Outlook, I say receive all emails, then only I get all the emails.
I guess
No,
so.
actually, you know what? If you have GSOP on your system, if you've downloaded it, you get that message. Where even if you're doing something, you get a pop-up saying you got a mail.
Yeah, I'm not talking about, I don't know about a pop-up, but even if I'm doing something, say, not sending an email, say chatting, but I can say that, 13 emails and it just comes right there. It's not the, it's not the pop-up that I'm talking about, but with Outlook, it happens that you don't see the new emails, not only the pop-up, but the new emails won't come to your system till you say that receive all.
If you have that setting, automatic it keeps on.
Yeah, anyways, with synchronous and asynchronous examples are, to me, it's very simple. Most of the web-based interaction we've had when we say I go to www.etrade.com and I put my username and password, right? I don't even have an account. I'm just giving it a, and I do this, then I say log on. Now, all of a sudden, I am stopped from doing anything until it comes back. It's an example of a synchronous communication between this page and the backend server. But asynchronous communication is, one of them is, as I already gave you an example of,
I think Kayak would be a good site, like it's giving you
Yeah, exactly. Kayak is a good site. Let's see, kayak.com. Almost all, yeah. So I'm hoping that when I start typing SAN, there you go. This is an example of an asynchronous call between my browser and the backend Kayak server, because while it was populating this list, I wasn't blocked from doing things. See, I am allowed to type and it's doing it real time without blocking me. That's an example of an asynchronous call.
As a BA, can we say that we took a framework of a Confluence wiki and made sure that the search is asynchronous?
Yeah, you can combine ideas from different facets,
I'm just trying to how I can use this.
Kahaniyan banaya. You have to make stories. That's the biggest thing about taking a BA interview, which I think Godali you're very good at, which is make stories. From these concepts that we learn in class, you somehow have to weave a story about it. So, okay. Okay, so anyways, I was just giving you an idea about what a Web 2.0 is.
Usually in JavaScript, whenever a code is written in JavaScript, the whole of object of that page, content of that page goes. Whereas if a JavaScript method is invoked in Ajax method is invoked in a JavaScript, only for that, for example, if that's a text field, only that particular
Exactly. Absolutely, yeah.
into the server as an XML, and then it is
correct, right. This is another example of Ajax. So now I've gone to a proper google.com page, and as you can tell, this google.com page has various widgets, various sections, various components, various pagelets. I can call it anything. I would call it a pagelet because this page is made up of multiple little pagelets. Okay, so again, as you can already imagine, and I'm sure you've seen it, this page will not even refresh entirely, but this section of it will refresh, and all of a sudden 5 minutes later it will say Dow is now -10. Even though I did not notice the entire page do this. This would be a Web 1.0 way of refreshing a page, whereas this would be, just Web 2.0 page of refreshing that section. Right? So that's also web, and this is also done using Ajax. This page is here. Behind the scenes, this part of the page wakes up and says, let me go back, make a call to Google servers, bring back the latest information and present it here. So this is also very heavily Ajax driven, this page. So Ajax is pretty much a buzzword. If your project requirement requires Web 2.0, we'll be talking heavily about Ajax. We'll be talking about how you implemented or how you proposed use of Ajax on your site. See, there's a difference between proposing use versus implementing. Implementing is what developers do, but they are hoping that you are the kind of a BA who's well versed with Web 2.0 technology, so at least you can talk about it, have a conversation, give ideas, give brilliant kind of, bulbs going on in your mind. Oh, we could do this, we could do that, right?
These. After some time, we just have to think, and browser will say, "I want this."
Exactly.
So Ajax is a part of Web 2.0, or is it a totally different thing?
Ajax, Web 2.0 is a concept. It's a way of creating application. Ajax is a technology that lets you create Web 2.0 applications. So in a way, you can say Ajax is a part of Web 2.0 technologies. Yes.
Web 2.0 is an existing technology, right? It's
Yeah, yeah.
upcoming now.
Yeah.
It's already implemented for some sites.
Yeah, right here.
Now this 2.0.
Which one?
Menu.
My new
You
place
go
is
to
Web
their
2.0
website.
website. Yeah. Oh, Loria.
How do we say, like, we know technology, or we use the technology?
Both. Well, you have to, in your interviews, you always have to make the maximum impact and not just say, I'm aware of it. You have to say, I have used it, I have proposed it. The project I worked on actually implemented Web 2.0 features.
It's like the company implemented, or should we say, like, what do we mean really, like, in this say we used or we are aware of the technology? So does it like mean that the company is implementing it?
Company is implementing through you. You are the medium. You are the BA. I mean, you're working on those projects. Yeah, take ownership of things.
There are two ways that even they want you to, there are two types of things when they ask like a BAs of Web 2.0. One, use. When they say use, like you have used enterprise stuff, you just used it like. So you've used enterprise search as in you have gone into fast and used it and seen how the search is good, or just suggested that this portal may be made better this way. And another thing which I was asked to do was I was an implementer. So it's not like there was nothing Web 2.0 already present. So I gave an idea that which is better, Microsoft is better or Google is better, which search would be better, which wiki would be better. Then I talked to the vendors, then I implemented it. I talked to the development team which would be better for our entire system. So that is, I'm not a user then, I'm an implementer as a BA. So I think two is the answer.
In fact, many times, that's great, totally. Many times, especially Cisco, is saying we don't want somebody who's aware. We want somebody who has hands-on experience implementing Web 2.0. So that's the then level of research you have to do about what you possibly did in such and such project. And that takes like solid 8-10 hours of work for going for that position.
It's like, maybe I've been working on mobile e-trade.
Right.
They were using Web 1.0.
Right.
That's when I realized, what we have to create.
Correct.
Web 2.0.
That is correct. Except that you can't use that in your resume. Why can't you use it in your resume?
That's a different person.
There you go.
Talk a little bit more about the search technology, like the search algorithm parts that you were talking about. Like the
Let's you and I separately, because it's there's a chance of that coming up in these guys' lives is like 1 in 100. I know.
Like I cannot be all the same.
I know. We could, but it's a one-off topic that I haven't usually talked in class, and I'm not maybe prepared for it. To talk to 20 people at the same time, I need to be prepared for it. Maybe.
I'm so white.
Pravan.
Hi Alok, I have one question. Is there the way to check the version of web like we do the same to check for the Internet Explorer version?
Wow, good question, but I don't think so. Pravan said, if you are on a particular web application, is there a way to check what version of web are they on? Are they on Web 1.0 or Web 2.0? Not really. You can just kind of see, the features. It's the experience. It's the user experience.
Document which says 2 columns, Web 1.0, Web 2.0. So from there you could find like.
If it has features of Web 2, like it is very rich in RSS and Ajax and social bookmarking, then you say, oh wow, so it's not like one day a site is Web 1.0, next day is Web 2. It's a gradual migration. They keep adding more and more.
See as a user as in if it's a thin client or a thick client and
Correct.
those kind of things, I as a user won't be able to even tell
Right.
just by glance.
Exactly. So yeah, Pravan, I have also wanted to bring up this.
I mean, email has been Web 2.0 since 2004.
So sometimes you guys, students keep sending me articles which many times I've seen before, but then sometimes I haven't seen before. And this was one of them. This was one of the articles that Godhili, I think, is referring to. It was an excellent article in Web 2.0 from Kasak. She works in Michigan in Blue Cross Blue Shield. Come on, open up.
It's not the 7th thing.
Wow, you remember that? Okay, cool, right. Okay, good. What are Web 2.0 applications? Are responsive, have rich user interface, and involve user participation in some way, often by allowing for user input and tagging of content. Okay, so another kind of definition of it, right? I gave you one definition of it, which is like a tabular list of what to me it means. Okay. So then there are new technologies that enable Web 2.0 implementation. For example, Ajax. For example, Flash, Flex. Okay. Web 2.0 applications are generally delivered through web browser. They're responsive to a user, often in a similar way to desktop applications. They are very rich application interfaces, right? They have rich application interfaces, often including pre-built components and widgets, right? That is what this was, pre-built components and widgets, right? So I'll let you go through this. And then one of, I think the page that you were talking about, there you go. In Web 1.0, data and the application interface are tied together. Like in Cricinfo, the data and the interface is married to each other. So if data has to change, the interface has to reload. In Web 2.0, they are independent. The interface is independent of data. If the data changes, silently changes itself, and the interface remains the same. So as you can tell, there are different ways of explaining the same concept, and you just, as I said, read about a concept at multiple places and eventually it starts to sink in, right? So a key concept behind Web 2.0 is asynchronous communication. This means a page doesn't have to stop and wait for the communication from the server while data is being requested and provided. Right, so I will send this to you. This is not a, what are the disadvantages? Well, developers need to be smart, learn new skills. I don't even know why they call it disadvantage. I mean, anything new and happening requires developers to retrain themselves.
How this document is, but they are saying using Flash, Flex to build Web 2.0, those things installed. But these days, like jQuery and those, they don't need those kind of frameworks.
They do, right? I think what this particular line is saying, that if a website has used Flash, if they've used Flash, then my browser needs to have a Flash player to actually show that content. So
even then, it's very difficult to find a machine these days
that doesn't have, right? Exactly. Excellent article on understanding
like I did a better just like
Okay, let's see. Let me hope I have answered Praman's question. Praman, did I kind of answer your question?
Yes, Alok.
Thank you. Excellent. Okay. So, I really cannot spend any more time on Web 2.0 because it could literally take 3 hours. We could just keep getting into more and more aspects of it and search and tagging and this and that. But, as and when you get interviews about it, we'll talk about it more. Like yesterday, I talked with Namrata for an hour and a half about enterprise search. One last concept maybe is RSS. You guys have heard of RSS? What did it stand for? Huh? Railway? What service?
Remote sensing service.
Remote sensing service.
really simple.
Really simple. At least we know that now. Good. So, what is it used for, Rima? Have you ever come across RSS? What is the word that comes after RSS mostly? Feeds. Good. What does it mean? Subinder, you want to explain? What does RSS feeds mean? Rachna, have you heard about it? Who wants to explain? Sumit wants to explain? Hold on. Let everybody benefit from it.
No, I don't. I just.
That's fine. Since you're talking to me, everybody should hear. Okay.
It's just like on your site you can configure this RSS feeds from different sites, and then you get all the updates from different sites on your. That's what the main concept behind RSS feeds.
I thought you'll do a longer touch.
No, I told you. I just.
Before installing something, it asks for RSS feeds. You want to install that.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you're right. So, okay. So say, what was the traditional way of getting data from a website? It was, I have a browser. I connect to the web server and I pull data, right? I am pulling data, right? Do you agree? When I go to Amazon, I'm actually pulling down data and displaying it, traditional way. But then there's some sites out there, like for example, CNN.com. This site changes often. Why does it change often? It's news, it happens on a minute by minute basis. And I am a very avid news reader, right? And I'm not even a news reader. Maybe I am a company that resells, repackages news and sells it. Right? You can kind of, maybe, I add my own spin to it, my own analysts talk about it, and then, so rather than we trying to keep pulling data, CNN.com will say, you know what, we will set up an RSS feed, which means that, and you guys set up an RSS reader at your end. Okay. So this RSS generator, do they call it? Yeah, RSS generator will keep sending data to us. It will push data to us. As and when CNN.com gets new news from their own sources, it will update on its website, and also the RSS generator will actually push data out to thousands of RSS readers out there, presuming that we have subscribed to this feed. So you have to subscribe to the feed. So it's basically a difference between pulling data versus getting data pushed to us. So that way, we can then program our reader that every time we get new stuff, we do whatever and resell it. So it all becomes kind of automated. But this is also sort of a Web 2.0 technology.
And the best thing about it, we can make it so that it's very customized. Like if I want it on my Facebook, I get information on my Facebook. If I want it in my Gmail, it comes to my
Gmail. Right.
Oh. So is this something like, have you heard of Kitlist?
Having one off?
Heard of Kitlist?
No, I haven't.
I've asked
Oh,
you.
KIT list, huh?
Yeah, I heard of Kitlist.
But isn't that like a job forum
Yeah.
where people
I mean,
post jobs? But that's
yeah.
an email. That's a
you know, you keep
mailing
getting,
list. No, that's a mailing list from what I know, Kit list. Kit list is a mailing list where somebody is updating information on a news group or a mailing list and it gets emailed to you. Or you can, huh?
You keep getting jobs.
New jobs.
Right? You get updates.
It's a similar concept, but I don't think that's RSS.
Can you give us an example?
Can somebody give me an example of RSS?
Biggest keywords would be, because what happens is sometimes whenever new updates happen, it immediately refreshes on.
That is refreshing.
Yeah.
Everything in every
It's
website
getting
that you
pushed. The information is getting pushed.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Rashmi will know.
Something like
I was hoping that Rashmi will know about it.
New advertisements come directly on your web page even if you're using that. And you have to close that item closing option.
Yeah.
See, now I don't know this one.
Yeah, maybe Rashmi will give us the best example of it. Yahoo News has it.
Amazing.
Hey, can I unmute her? Can I unmute other people? Okay, I can unmute other people. Has she muted herself at her end? Rashmi, I'm not able to unmute you. Are you muting yourself? Can't unmute you for some reason. Yeah, I can unmute other people. Which triangle? This one?
No,
That means they're not attentive. I mean, which means their viewer isn't.
yeah, skip back.
No, this means not attentive.
I can go.
And that doesn't matter. Whether son is attentive or not. Rashmi, I'm sorry, I'm not able to talk to you because I'm not able to unmute you for some reason. Gosh. First time I found a bug. Okay. To be honest with you, I have never ever subscribed to an RSS feed, and therefore I'm a bit clueless about it. But okay, you said news.yahoo.com. Yeah, RSS.
I think once back you were talking to Sampath.
Sampath did it, right? Sampath showed me how he had subscribed to RSS, yeah. Yeah, and again, rather than wasting time here, I wish I could just, Okay, that's a to-do for me.
Like any thing what it is.
How to demonstrate these two class. Okay. Excellent. I will have Mr. Sampath teach me and then I'll teach you. Yeah.
I see here that BitTorrent, that is also
RSS. Yeah. Okay.
So I'll give you an example. So what I had done in 2 years back, one of my classmates in India was murdered, and we could see in Google on the news. And then, I wanted to keep an update on what's happening, what the cops are doing in India. Are they going to catch the murderer? I think they caught him, but they didn't know what are they going to find him against. Are they going to take him into custody and do whatnot? I was waiting on that news. So I had kept an alert to get news as in when Google updates on, when it captures Sunita Rao murder case, any kind of news on her would be emailed to me. Is that RSS?
No, that is an alert. That's somebody has to set up an RSS feed at their end for you to subscribe to it. It has to be, and I don't think that, that particular, that's an alert. I can understand alerts. I've seen alerts before.
But on Gmail news, on the
Right.
on
It's a similar concept. It's a similar concept, but Rashmi, again, I think you raised your hand. She's like, I want to talk to you.
How do you know that?
I mean, that was very
It's very big.
Shefali?
Yeah.
Shefali?
Alok, the difference between alert and feed is that in alert we usually subscribe by email, but in feed we do not have to disclose our email address when subscribing to a feed.
So she's saying the difference between alert and RSS is an alert. Won't the alerts coming to you as an email? In RSS feed, your data comes into your browser or in a separate reader. So you can be anonymously subscribed to a feed. So that's for example, a distinction between the two. And you know, it's a similar, I mean, the motive is the same. The motive is an update happened to the server, I should know. Whether it happens through email alert, like what you're talking about RSS feed, just different technology for the same kind of thing. Thank you, Shefali. Anything else?
No, that's it. I just want
Thanks.
to hear.
Hi, Shahid. Go ahead. Shahid, you raise your hands. Oh, now I can also do Rashmi. Shahid, go ahead. Can you show my screen? I can show how RSS works. I would love to do that. Shahid, can you first talk to me? Because I want to be able to hear you so we can have a conversation. Can you not talk? You don't have a mic? Do you have a mic?
Hi, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. So you're ready to show it?
Yeah, hello. Yeah.
Excellent. I love this technology thing. And alrighty, go ahead.
So this is the Microsoft Office I'm working in. It has an option called RSS feed here.
We can't see a screen yet.
Oh.
Now we can see your screen.
So this is the Microsoft Office I use. And,
Microsoft Office,
this is
okay.
the RSS feeds icon here.
RSS feeds icon in Microsoft Office, okay.
Yeah, just click it and you can subscribe to whatever RSS feed you want here.
So show me something that came to you today.
Yeah, this is the MNBC top news stories.
And that just takes you.
So these are the top stories today of MNBC.
Very nice, very nice. So here you have an RSS feed reader. He has an RSS feed reader which is actually integrated into Outlook, and content is being pushed to this feeder, to this reader, I should say, to this reader by MSNBC.
But he must have done the setting.
He has to, yeah. You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a simple Google search on how to set up an RSS reader on Outlook.
What if I don't want to use any of my emails?
No, you don't have to. I mean, sometimes it's a... Shahid, do you have an example where you can do this on a browser and you don't want to use Outlook for it? Because what you've done is the more advanced way. The simple way is that you have an RSS reader on your browser. You open your browser and you always have that icon on your right. Have you done that?
Some browsers already come with that. Some browsers Opera.
Yeah, they already come with the reader. Okay, good.
But I don't know how to
That's fine. Makes sense, makes sense. Thank you. Let me put you back on mute. Dismiss as a presenter. No. How do I?
That's the last one, right?
It's going in the back. That's funny. Did I completely dismiss him? Oh, I did. Shit. Okay, I need to know about this thing. Rashmi. Okay, Rashmi, talk to me.
You can do this, you can get the updates from the other websites or, whatever feeds you want. You can go to the Yahoo homepage and there is a...
No, can you show exactly rather than talking about it? Can you show step by step? Can I make you the presenter?
Yeah, sure.
Make presenter. Okay, I made you the presenter. I think you... Did you get that icon to share your screen?
You're watching my screen.
I am watching my screen now, yeah.
So see on this my Yahoo thing, you can see here mail in Yahoo homepage. So you go to my Yahoo. And you have this main tab and my Yahoo RSS feeds.
Okay, how did you get this tab here, Rashmi? Did you actually download an RSS reader or it came pre-built?
No, it's there.
Everybody who goes to my Yahoo will be here. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So you can choose any of the jobs in here, or say for example, I added CNN Money here, right? So whenever I want to read, I can just go here and read stuff over here. So it is not something that I have to keep refreshing. It keeps coming on me. So whenever there are updates, it keeps refreshing itself.
Okay. Okay, good.
So what? Now, if I want to add
hold on, Rashmi, let me repeat what you said to the class here because I'm on a headset. She said that on my.yahoo.com there is already this my RSS feeds tab, and it lets you choose what feeds do you want. And then she's added, for example, CNN Money feed, and this area of the browser keeps updating itself. Almost sounds like Ajax. In its functionality, it is similar to Ajax, but it's using a different technology. That RSS is pushing data out.
The information that you want.
That information that you want, right? So yeah, so she set up this RSS feed. Okay, continue, please.
So now, if you want to do, for say you want hot jobs, you just click on it. And,
so you just added this RSS feed. Okay.
So you might find it somewhere over here. Okay, there you go. You find it hot jobs over here. So,
right, exactly.
I mean, this is how it works.
Excellent.
Okay. And you just say, I'm done, and you're back to your home page. So if you can just change appearance. That is different part though. So you have more control over what you want to see on your home page or this particular page.
Makes sense. Thank you. Excellent. Now I hope I need to do this the right way. I need to make you not a presenter. No. Oh, make myself. I'll just make myself the organizer, presenter. Okay. Excellent. Okay, that's how. I'm sorry, Shahid. In case you're back, I wanted to apologize. I dropped you by mistake. I didn't mean to. Subscribe. Okay, guys. Okay, so that's Web 1.0, Web 2.0 discussions can continue for 3, 6, 9, 12 hours, and we unfortunately don't have the time. I just wanted to introduce the concept, and now, as and when you get interviews, we'll make up stories. As and when you get interviews, we'll make up stories. Okay. Let's talk about this another one-off concept of SLA. Yes, it's nothing to do with Web 1.0, Web 2.0. You might even have heard that term in your life. I'm sure Jaren has heard that term. Service level agreement. Right? I said Jaren has heard because Jaren comes from a BPO / help desk / customer support kind of background. And those kind of,
I learned it when I was doing my ERP.
Right. Service level agreement. It's a term that can be used pretty much in any context. Like a husband and a wife have a SLA between them. Right?
I think that's called a prenup.
It's called a prenup. Right. Or maybe even, well, that's prenup, I agree, but even in terms of what are my duties towards you and your duties towards me. And I'll come across as very sexist, so please. Husband brings the money home. At least 100K a year, guys. Sorry. Other than that, I'm not going to be, right? Yeah, there you go. You know, so the SLA is, you know, okay, provide for the basic necessities, right?
Provide for all the shopping.
All the shopping expenses, depending upon how. The wife, on the other hand, has some SLAs that she's bounded to, right? So, for example, look pretty. Okay, that's fine. I take that. You guys are helping me today. Usually, I'm the one who comes across as shallow and sexist, but okay. Look pretty. Make good food. Okay. Raise children. Yeah.
Only if good shopping and
Keep house clean. Rama is calling me. Why is she calling me from work? Whenever I get a call from consultant at work, I get worried. Common, no? No, I've had to take it. I'm sorry. Hi, Rama. What's up? Have you started already? So you're calling me from work? Oh, work from home already started. Nice. Wow, you know, you're lucky. I don't think everybody in Cisco gets that. That's cool. So yeah, so let's do it next Friday if you can, and I'll come down to Mountain View area so you don't have to travel all the way. Actually, no. We'll have to do it in New Year. I'll be in New Jersey next Friday. But yeah, but no, thanks for calling. I know we have to get together, but yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it in New Year's, and I'll call you. I'm in a class right now, 9 to 12. Yeah, I'll call you. Bye. Thanks. Okay. That was not bad. Okay. Yeah, anyway, this was stupid. Okay. Service level agreement. What does it mean in the world of IT? You know, it means different things. For example, say I am Bank of America and I am outsourcing my customer's care to TCS. Where is this constant hollow sound coming from somewhere? Let's see. Somebody is unmuted. Nobody's unmuted. But yeah, it's like a beep. No, yeah, it's coming from my machine. You guys hear it? Okay, and it's only me who's on, so okay. Okay, suppose Bank of America, you know, did a massive $20 million project, right, which TCS would love to get. Outsource customer care to TCS. And then, of course, you know, by the way, such projects like Taken up, okay. So yeah, it's not TCS, but some other company. But most people wouldn't know that company, so I said TCS. Okay, it's historically inaccurate. Okay, so now Bank of America will want to have some service level agreements with TCS. Like, tell me.
Your customer satisfaction scores.
Customer satisfaction score should never dip below what?
8%.
Really? That's pretty pathetic.
Actually, 85.
It's not, okay, it's pretty good, sir. Maybe you can't be expecting 99. Impossible. Pretty good. Okay, next. Average hold time. Average hold time of handling time. Average handling time.
Like, your calls should not exceed more than 5 minutes.
Really? Well, why is that an SLA? I can understand average hold time being less than, say, 5 minutes, so that...
Average hold time includes in average handling time. Because if you take a call, if you exceed more than 5 minutes, the other call is waiting for you.
Oh, so average handling time affects average hold time. Average hold time should be less than 5 minutes, handling time? But that doesn't make sense. What if my problem is so unique and so difficult that the poor guy...
You take 100 calls, so one call could be that.
But if you are taking every call and it's going like 25 minutes, there's something wrong with the CSR.
Yes.
So he needs to be trained.
To like CSR, talk to them, giving coaching.
Wow.
Well, it depends.
It depends, right.
Like for me, it was like we had ours was technical support, so our calls used to go for more than
30-35 minutes.
Okay, so it depends upon the call. Right. Yeah, these were just
examples.
examples. Right. I agree. Depends upon the nature.
Has HT of 32, 33.
Okay. Technical calls 30 to 33. Customer support 5 minutes.
Longest call
Ideally, it should be
they
30
had.
minutes. But in situations which arises where customer doesn't want to leave you, you get permission.
Wow. Pretty interesting.
But again,
Customer
it
the
impacts
customer care.
your flows, your site's AHT. The longest call in Dell was for like 18 hours. Really? Both of them went on break simultaneously, came back.
What were they fixing?
They were fixing the computer.
Could have been
Yeah,
easier to
like-
just send it.
No, it's not send until unless you don't troubleshoot. So after you troubleshoot, if you see there's something wrong, that's when you ship a new computer. You can't do troubleshoot.
18 hours seems like trouble.
Yeah. He was a pretty old guy, so I think we spent a lot of time with that.
Right. Say it's a 24/7 customer care, but then you are saying, you know what, availability of customer care should be 99.9%. This is all, I'm just making things up, guys. There's nothing, you know.
The third point, I think, for me as a customer is very important.
Right. You know that because some customer care support centers are not open 24/7 and some of them are. So BFA will say, you know what, we are willing to give you this contract, but we want to make sure that you guys are staffed round the clock. It's not like, you know, our customers from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. you would think, oh, should not get customer care. So the point is all these service level agreements, all these individual conditions are being imposed on TCS in exchange of $20 million. And these conditions, when broken, result in a penalty, which means that, you know, say a week goes by and the average handling time is more than 5 minutes. So maybe they'll allow 3 violations in a month, but after that 4th violation, huge penalty, $10,000, you know, reduction in their earnings from us, you know, something like that. So that's what SLA is. So if you ever have talked about SLAs, we'll talk about SLAs, you know, it just depends. This is, for example, a specific example of Bank of America and customer care.
There's a lot of things like the channel vendors and
Exactly. Any.
channel partner vendors, everybody.
I agree.
Employers,
Exactly. Yeah. Employees and consultants. Say there's a infrastructure group. I'm going to give you another example. Infrastructure group in, say, Wells Fargo Bank. Okay. Say it's an internal group. It's not even an external company. It's an internal group of Wells Fargo Bank. Their job is to provide infrastructure, and by that I mean desktops, laptops, pagers, Blackberries, voice over IP phones and all that. That's the infrastructure group. So then there might be the HR group, which is responsible for setting up new employees. Right? A new employee joined Wells Fargo Bank. He needs all the tools of the trade, right, to be able to be an effective employee. So these guys might have an SLA between them, that within 1 day of receiving new employee requisition, the infrastructure group will have a laptop at the desk of the new employee. Sometimes you will actually go to a company and for 4 days your laptop will not come. You know, you're just sitting there reading documents every single day. And then there's some computer on top of it. You go there and the first day you go it says, welcome so-and-so, this is your laptop, right? So that again depends upon their processes, you know, what kind of processes they have. Another SLA could be, you know,
between the developer and the infrastructure group where they have to give, like, you know, the best of the load balancer, silicate everything.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I was just, yeah, that's a good example. You know, I was just thinking, you know, laptop maybe is needed for the first day, but maybe BlackBerry in 3 days, because BlackBerry is not that, you know, critical the moment you join. So the point is SLAs will just change depending upon the context of it, right? Whether it is a home context or a customer care context or infrastructure support group context, whatever it is, whatever things you have on your resume. If there's a requirement that says we need somebody with SLA experience, then we will. Today, let me take this opportunity to also, maybe I already talked about this, bullet points, but I'll talk.
PR Get One the current performance SLA should not be impacted. What I meant is whatever I'm doing my project, but whatever the Bank of the West website has to show and how it works, any customer should be able to open a checking account, even if my new project is.
Right. I was just thinking as you were telling me this, Rachna, I think it's a good idea for you guys to read each other's BRDs and FSDs and project charters to see what have other people done, right? So that when you have a discussion with me, other people know the context that she's talking about. So I don't know how to do this. Should we just mail it to each other? Keep me out of those emails. Maybe what you guys can do is, for those of you, I think it's a good idea. For those of you who are very proud of your BRD, FSD, project charter, just send it out to their team and let other people, either use it or throw it, whatever they have to do. All right. Early break. We hadn't even gotten to what I really want to get today. I'm just doing one-off topics. Anti-phishing technology. Last topic before we get into ER modeling. What does phishing mean?
Phishing.
Bad websites.
Bad websites. Malicious websites. So Godhali can easily explain this. But let me use one of the recent class members, newer class members, to see who in this class wants to explain what phishing means. But you know? You know or you don't know? Okay. Naveen? Anybody who knows? Phishing. Not the...
Looking for something.
Are you fishing for something? Yeah, exactly. But what are we looking for? In the world of web fraud, what are people fishing for? What are hackers and bad people fishing for? Right. Which kind of information? Credit card, usernames, passwords. Yeah. Okay. Exactly. So how do hackers achieve it? How do hackers achieve it? They take exactly. There you go. Sumit knows. They take you to the wrong site. Okay. So imagine this. Yeah, I am a grandma in Iowa. Okay, I'm really non-techie, but I somehow got a computer for my grandson for Christmas, and I'm like, okay, let me do my banking online. I have like $25,000 in my account. So I started getting into Wells Fargo Bank, wellsfargo.com, and started looking at my balances and paying my bills, and I'm very happy. And one day, I get an email that says, "Hi, Granny Smith, your account is flagged NSF. Okay. Please log in to http://www.wellsfargo.com." But it came as Wells Fargo. So you are smart. You're not a grandma in Iowa. But maybe you could fall for it. Like Godhali said, you're so panicky. Oh my God, NSF, I had $25,000. What happened? And you don't even go and type Wells Fargo. You just click on the link, Wells Fargo.
They have like a gigantic URL, like something dot
right.
Country name, this, that, I hate this, and then it comes like paypal.com.
Right.
Did you ever see the video that I sent you?
I must have marked it for follow-up.
So my professor, he works for the FBI about phishing and everything, and my friends, they are working on it. And I've seen like every day they catch, like the 4 or 5 of them catch 50,000 sites per day pages and report them. So this is, they are thinking of opening this as a business. Right?
I did read it. Now that you're saying it, I did read it. Yes. Yeah, I remember this one-page article.
That's Gary Warner. He is a teacher at QAB, and it was just my advisor who didn't let me work with him, but he is a brilliant person.
Something about turning it back on the hackers, right? Was some article something about?
What you do is you take the URLs and either you report it to the ISPs if you have a good rapport with them, or you have to tell Bank of America, look, this is wrong.
Right. Cyber phishing is the act of sending what looks like an email from a legitimate bank, which tricks its target into giving out personal information that drains their bank account. Right? And
See the video.
yeah. Yeah, video is what I didn't see, but now I remember all of a sudden that I'd gone through this. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's good. Let me send it to everybody. Forward to EAQA batch.
And when he gives demos, like when Gary gives demos, it's like he gives actual reasons why you and I, we don't even think that we can fall prey to this, but we can like very easily fall prey to this.
Right.
Like,
no, nobody will be able to hear it. That's the problem. My speakers are weak. So there you go. So that pretty much, okay, so wellsfargo.com, and the grandma clicks on it and the browser opens up, and then grandma gives her, Miss Smith as her username. And
wellsfargo.com look exactly like
exactly. That's another thing. The Russian or the Korean hackers who created this website looks exactly like Wells Fargo. It has the Wells Fargo because you and I can recreate wellsfargo.com literally in a day. Just it's simple. It's a front page. That's all I need. And then Miss Smith enters her username and password and hits submit. And on the next page, I'll say, "Oops, I'm sorry, an error occurred. Please try again," or something. And then the grand lady is kicking, and then she just kind of closes the browser. But I've gotten my information what I wanted because it's my site, and the moment she entered on my site, I'm done. I know that I have a victim now. And now I'm the hacker, I go to actually wellsfargo.com and transfer the money out to my account. And then close that account and I'm gone, right? I suddenly made $25,000 in one day. It's a very popular sort of scam into giving unsuspecting people a way to give you their information.
they're nowhere near to finding an automated software that catches it. The only thing that they have is, say you subscribe to Mozilla, that this is blacklisted. So Mozilla has that and stuff, but there's no automated software that you can put on the ISP that this is not Wells Fargo.
Yeah, it's impossible to say, right?
No, research is going on in that, and we're very much hoping that somebody soon.
So they're well known.
The thing is, for internet, it's a Wells Fargo or Wells Fargo. Both of them are same, right? Takes you to the page. It looks different. You determine the looks. You go and say, oh, you know what, it looks.
That's data mining and picture mining and stuff like that, and with that they are trying.
Just like you said, maybe you can take a picture and give it to Amazon and say that.
Right. So if you think about it, actually I'm amazed. I didn't do this research ever before. Wellsfargo.com is available. This is, it's the fact that it gives this, it means it's actually an available website. And so I can perhaps buy it for maybe $1 million. I think I'll have to pay that much because it's so closely tied to Wells Fargo. And then, just kind of try to make money off of it. So, but okay, so that's phishing. And this thing is called phishing. How do you prevent it? Well, you prevent it the way Bank of America prevented it, which is what? Site key, exactly, site key. So what you do is you make your users only enter the username on one page. Okay, only the username on one page, and let them sign in. And beforehand, I have already uploaded a picture on Bank of America website that I know, and I have the site key. So I think this is India Gate, right, in Delhi. So I've uploaded this picture. So now, even if I am about to become a victim of bankoamerica.com, not the F, they wouldn't know that, hacker site wouldn't know what my site key was, what my keyword was, a keyword and the picture was. And then I would know right away that this is not the site.
An example of the PKI where both parties are giving keys.
Keys, exactly, yeah. So and now I know for a fact I am on my trusted bank's website and I'll go ahead and sign in. So the way to break this problem of anti-phishing is simple. Don't have users put username, password on the same page. Have them put one on one page. Go to this intermediate page, and over there, show them something that they only uploaded, picture of their kid, their pet, whatever, and then let them put the passcode. And
do you think this infrastructure is very expensive?
No, it's not. You know, that's the amazing part, that till today, wellsfargo.com is still expecting people to enter username password on the same page. It's a great target for phishing. So that's one of the talking points that you guys have when you go for an interview in Wells Fargo, especially with Internet Services Group, online banking. So when are you guys thinking about making your website more anti-phishing, secure, so that people are not falling targets to phishing?
The fact that these people get hits like by hundreds each day from all over the globe.
Correct.
And some people are not even trying to get money. They're just trying to, get the reputation.
Sully, right. Exactly. So, okay. Great. Guys are shutting down. Mute caffeine. Okay. Good. Let's take a break. 10:45. Then we'll start with ER modeling and SQL. Fun class today, I think. I hope.
Money from your account, you need to link the account, some other account to your account.
I guess so. But at least they can do some bad thing. Maybe they can, let me say, how can they? Yeah. You can, okay, so now that you're inside Granny Smith's account, you can set up your friend's account as a pay-to account.
Yeah,
right? And then transfer $1,000. That's the most. Maybe the most that Granny Smith will lose is $1,000. But maybe she doesn't even realize for the next 20 days that her account has been hacked into. Every day I can keep taking out $1,000 until I wipe out. And then I close out that account and I leave.
Yeah, that's going to happen. Like, it take like 2 days to set up another
to
account.
Do a massive damage, exactly. But once I'm into her account and I know her name, I know her SSN number, maybe I know her at least her address, I know some more personal information about her.
And it's not only just the financial, not just the banks, but gateways like PayPal or whatever. You get into Amazon and sometimes it's set. Like my, whatever, credit card number is already set on Amazon. I don't give it every time.
Exactly.
I just click, just send it to me.
Yeah, it's a gateway to then other issues, right? All my credit card numbers are in my online bill payment because under account information. You're right.
This guy in HSBC back home in India, he was working in a call center. So you know what he did? He had like a couple of accounts, almost like hundreds of thousands. So he started taking out 1 cent from every account. He was transferring that to his account. So he made like 20, 30,000 pounds.
Everybody gets caught eventually. No, not necessarily.
But I think it's okay because whenever we go for interview, we prepare from the day one we started our experience. They should expect that.
Most of the 99% interviews focus on the top 2-3 projects.
And then you can tell, oh, it is bad. I really don't.
I should have said that, but I fluently answered on the networking issue.
That's how we learn, next time.
Yeah. Shefali had...
Too many times.
Even yesterday we were talking with Sarvesha.
Shravanti.
Sorry. She was sharing her experiences with the interview on QA and QA. It was good. She answered many of my questions.
Oh, let's finish.
Purple color of this is
Okay.
I'm carrying this look.
Yeah.
Start the class. Please confirm regarding the holidays because I have to leave 10 minutes early.
Yeah, I think we'll just maintain the holiday schedule we had, which means today's the last class. Then we'll meet on the 4th of Jan. No, because I think a couple of people are not interested in it. Canvas will be open.
By 9, is it like you? It's open by
9:30. Make it safe, 10. Okay, holiday season, people are, I guess, sleeping late at night. And yeah, but I don't care. Either way is fine. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Okay. Yeah, no, of course, no, not at all. Let's see.
No. Yeah, I'm sorry. Merry Christmas.
एक ER diagram is nothing. It's nothing. I mean, if you guys, today is what, meeting? So it's not even due till the next class we meet. Not, I mean, so if we meet on Monday, we'll do on Tuesday. There's pretty much no homework during Christmas break. Right, because it's due on meeting 15th. So.
Yeah, also you had a book. Thank you.
But yeah, that just happened by chance. I didn't really plan it like that. So, okay. All right, guys, let's get into, let's see, where are we with our course? We've done project charters. We've done BRDs. We've done FSDs. Now, huh? Yeah, we've done QDP, right. Now, yeah, test plan, test cases. Now I was going to talk about in terms of the day 1 to day 4. Now comes the time to do technical design, right? Because once the functional specifications are over, the technical teams jump in and say, okay, you know, it's now our work has started now. We need to start doing technical design. Now, technical design, as you might expect, happens at 3 tiers, right? Application server, web server people are doing their technical design. Application server folks are doing, and database folks are doing their application, right? Everybody is doing their own technical design, right? You can't expect a database developer to be creating web page design and web page guy to be creating, for example, code, Java code, right? Design. So the first thing I want to cover is database design. So it happens at the database level, of course. The way database design is done is, first of all, the technical teams do ER model, entity relationship model. Entity relationship model. So database design is done via ER model.
Entity design model.
Entity relationship model. Entity relationship model. Okay. Entity relationship model, what happens is the database design team looks at the BRD, the FSD, and says, okay, what are the various entities that are needed in the system? They figured out what are the various entities that are needed in the system. What is an entity? An entity is something that you need to store data about.
Even relationship is something about which you need to
store data. Yeah.
But entity with that is something that we can perceive as well.
Which we can perceive and visualize. You're right. Yes. Maybe something tangible. Let's say tangible. Store data about. Handwriting was खराब that you need to store data about. Okay. So let's take an example. Let's imagine that you are a company that sells products, right? And you're trying to sell products, and so you have orders, right? And so what are some of the, and you need an application. You need an application to support and capture the actual sales. Suppose you need an application to support and capture the actual sales. What are some of the entities that come to your mind that you need to store data about if you're a company that sells products? Products is the biggest entity because you need to sell products, right? I mean, so product is an entity. An entity is shown as a rectangle. What are some other entities? Customers, you calling it clients. I would like to call it customers, but we can both be. And then sales. When you said sales, can you explain more?
Like more amount.
Okay, can I call it order?
Is it order the relationship between the product and the customer?
Well, we'll see. Let's figure it out. It's possible. And I think that's, again, I think in an ER model, we could eventually get to our database design multiple ways, right?
Yeah.
Many different ways to get to, what we're looking for.
I think sales would be like my team members who are selling the products. They have employee ID and what products they're associated with.
Salesmen, let's just say salesmen or women. Okay. Good. Just starting off, right? Again, in real world, an ER model will be done over 2 weeks. I'm trying to do it in 10 minutes. I'm just trying to give you an idea about what ER. So you're figuring out your entities and you are putting rectangles around it. Then the next thing you do is figure out the attributes of the entities. Attributes of the entities mean what are the characteristics that you want to store about that entity. So what do you want to store about customer? Customer ID. Customer first name. Customer last name. So again, customer phone number, customer email ID. Which one was that? Customer address, so on and so forth. Right? So you show attributes as little kind of ellipses hanging off of the rectangle. Right? So we are doing an ER model. We are doing an ER model for the database that will be the back end of this application. Right? So we're doing an ER model for the database that will be the back end of this application. Right?
So BA includes this role of documenting the ER model.
Does the BA get involved in this? It depends upon whether you are a BA or a systems analyst. If you are a systems analyst or an IT analyst, then you might be a part of this team who's figuring out the entities. Right? 90% chance though is that you will have not much to do with this. But there's a 10% chance.
I'm not asking, even if it is included in the profile, it's okay. But I was just keen to know that just like RUP, ER modeling is also a process.
Is ER model a process?
It's a concept.
It's concept. It's modeling. It's
you can give your input.
But I guess that those are contradictory statements. You would be involved. You won't be involved, but you can give your inputs. So if you're giving your inputs, you are kind of involved.
I mean, I'm saying you won't develop it on your own.
So I mean, yeah. So it would be rare.
You won't be involved in your responsibility.
It would be rare for you to be the owner of this task. It would be rare for you to be the owner of this ER modeling task, but you could very well be asked to participate in this design decision. Right? It just also depends upon your, it depends upon the nature of the job for sure. It also depends upon your own nature. Are you the kind of guy who likes to roll up their sleeves and get into technical discussions, or are you trying to stay functional and business side your whole life? It just depends upon what you take upon yourself. Once you get into a job, a lot of dynamics are just about your own created dynamics. How much responsibility are you taking on your shoulders? If an ER modeling, you'll get a meeting request for ER model as an optional attendee. They've told you we're going to do ER modeling in such and such room at 12 p.m. And then you'll say, should I go for lunch or should I go sit in this ER model? And some of you will choose to go lunch and not worry about it. And some of you will go and say, let me just sit in. Maybe it will benefit me. Maybe I'll understand the application better. Maybe I'll give some input into this ER model that will be great and I'll become very popular in the group. Right? So it just depends upon your own. So I never want to say that you will not be involved. You will be involved in pretty much anything that the job dictates and what you want. I mean, so you could just say, I don't want to go for this. Just tell me the ER model that was decided on and I'll kind of skim it and approve it. Or you might spend 20 hours, 6 meetings, 3 hours each, laboring over this and talking about it and having passionate discussions about, why we don't have a middle initial here, or should customer ID be a variable character field or a text field or a integer field. It depends upon you. So anyways, coming back here. So I hope I answered your question, Vinod, in a long-winded fashion. Yeah, this would be like, yeah. So I want to not really differentiate that too much, but if they're a BA role, a business system analyst role, IT analyst role, or just a system analyst role? To me, if I was being forced to make the distinction, I would say a BA is supposed to be more functional. When I say that, I mean, the guy stops at PC, BRD, and FSD. And if you are a business system analyst or an IT analyst and system analyst, you are a BA plus you get into technical aspects like SQL, like XML, like wireframes, like UML, like ER model. So I am trying to train you to be both, right? And then some of you will excel at this and some of you will always be, I'll give an example of Rama. Rama was very anti these roles, very anti this. We had heated discussions about it. Typical employer-employee relationship where, when people are on our H1, we have to be very, very careful and deliberate in placing them ASAP because, H1s could become a big problem down the line if they're not placed right away. And Rama is like, I'm not going to go. She kept saying no, no, no to every position because it would have a reference of SQL. She's like, I will not do SQL. And finally, we had to revoke the H1. Like, we can't continue like this. Then we are now recapturing the H1. So it's another 3,000 expense when you recapture H1. It's horrible. But I would much rather do that, So, I mean, we didn't really have heated discussion. It was a very sort of a basic thing. See, we need you to attend every interview we send you. You have to give it your best shot. Outcome depends upon other factors. But you have to go for an interview and give it your best shot. Don't just go for the heck of it. Give it your best shot. Stay up all night and read about XML if you have to.
She got a perfect lecture.
Yeah, she got lucky. She got a role. Right, exactly.
That was the job that she got, and I remember it very carefully because of that.
Exactly. And she just got lucky. Yeah, she got the most generic customer service type of BA role. Right. So anyways, the point I'm trying to make then is, Rachna, that business system analyst, generally speaking, it is right. That's if a position comes up as an IT analyst, system analyst, then they're expecting you to be a bit more hands-on, a bit more hands-on with technology. With a BA, high level. In fact,
BA kind of thing would need to be
right, exactly. So if you're a BSA, IT analyst, then yeah, you might be involved in this. They might say, come on in, and we force you to come and sit through this. And even if you might be on your BlackBerry the whole time, at least you're there. You're absorbing a little bit. That's what it means. Then product will of course have product ID, product name, product price, P-price, pre-description. Okay. No, we haven't talked about that yet, so in this class. Okay. Okay, so now, we keep giving attributes, right, to each entity. Order will have an order ID, an order date, okay, and among other things, right? Again, I'm perhaps only doing 10% attributes that order amount. Right, I'm not putting order amount for a reason right now, but let's see if I have to. Maybe I'm thinking can be derived. Okay, so now let's see. Now these are the various entities, and salesmen have their own, right? Sales ID, salesman name, salesman location, blah, 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 right? Right. Okay, so now we've gotten our entities, we've gotten our attributes. The next thing we have to worry about is something called a relationship. Let's see, where are we with our chapter? We are in day 3. If you jump to day 3 very quickly, I am on page 27. I'm on page 27 or 26, right? I'm doing the first document that is done in technical requirements. Entity relationship diagrams. Page 27 says entities are represented by rectangles. An entity is an object or concept about which you want to store information. That's their definition. Entity is the object or concept. So it doesn't have to be an object, it can also be a concept. Because if you think about it, order is a concept, order is not an object, right? There's a difference between product entity, it's a tangible entity, customer is a tangible entity, but order is not really a tangible, it's kind of a concept, right? Because you can't point at an order, but you can point at a customer and a product. So that's why an entity can be a concept also. Attributes are represented by ellipses, right? These are the ellipses. An attribute describes properties or characteristics of an entity. And then relationship. What are relationships? Relationships illustrates how two entities share information in the, let me just say that. Let me not say that. I don't know why they brought this concept here. A relationship illustrates how two entities share information. What is the relationship between two entities? How do they share information? So, okay, so let's talk about relationship between orders and customer. Okay, so what is the relationship between order and customer? Customer places an order, okay? So one way of saying that relationship is places. I think, yeah, it just depends. I think it just depends on how you do it. Yeah, you're going one step ahead of me. Right now I'm just talking about relationship. Okay, so places an order is fine. You can also call it owns. Customer owns an order. Or an order belongs to a customer. All these three things are fine. Right? These are relationships, right? So the relationship then I would like to show it as, even though Godhali, if she's a ER modelist and I'm a modelist, we'll do different things. We'll just both make our case and the team will say, okay, Godhali, you're right. We'll go with that, right? Okay, so belongs, so I don't know. I will call it, I want to say belongs to. To me, that makes most sense to me personally. So the relationship is belongs to. An order belongs to a customer. And I'm going to make one more change. I don't know if it's important or not. I'm just going to make it singular. Product, customer, and order. I'm not going to say orders because to me an entity is singular. Okay. An order belongs to a customer. And then the next thing I want to talk about is, so that's a relationship. This is how these two entities share information. And the next thing I want to talk about is cardinality. Cardinality specifies how many instances of an entity relate to one instance of another entity. You have to memorize all these definitions, by the way. If somebody ever asks you, have you done ER modeling? Answer is always yes, I've done ER modeling. Extensively, yeah, add that, extensively. I like that. And yeah, I've done it. That's pretty cool. Tell me about it. Well, in an ER modeling, as a database team, you are trying to lay out your database structure. To lay out your database structure, you have to go through the process of identifying what are the various entities that you will have in your database, the attributes of those entities, the relationship between entities, and the cardinality of relationship. So the term cardinality applies to of relationship. The cardinality of relationship. Cardinality specifies how many instances of an entity relate to one instance of another entity. So how many instances of an order relate to one instance of customer? How many instances of an order belong to one customer? Many. Many instances of an order can belong to a customer because a customer can place multiple orders with us. So I put many. And now let's look about from the other way. How many customers can an order belong to? No. Huh?
How many
No, no.
can belong to an order? How many orders?
Well, how many orders?
When you have a product and you have a lot of customers, so they relate.
Okay, now let me rephrase it again. How many instances of an entity relate to another? How many instances of an order relate to one customer? We already gave many. Now let me say the other way. How many customers
Can relate to one order number?
can one? How many customers can relate to one order?
Like instance of
An instance of an order. One. one to many. So the cardinality of belongs to becomes one to many. One to many. Not clear? थोड़ा ऊपर से आज नहीं अभी we'll do many examples. Eventually that cardinality thing will become.
Just give an example of an order number, say XYZ. So I think that.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Any specific order number will belong to one customer only.
Right. No, that's why I said one. I agree with you. A specific order number can only belong to a specific customer, but a customer can have multiple orders. Let's take another human example. Boyfriend and girlfriend. Interesting. Boyfriend, girlfriend.
I don't think so. This concept belongs to your.
Well, it's an entity. Suppose you're having a dating application. Say you're making a dating app. Making a dating app. Hey, you have to have your entities. One to many. That's funny, Raji already clicked on it. One to many from one side, maybe.
Yeah, one to many from this side.
Okay. But I guess girls are very, many to many. Let's do that. Many to many.
No.
Well, that's how you say many to many. In many to many, you.
I mean, the divide of the arrow sign makes it many to many. If it's arrow.
That's another sort of representation. But I've also seen entity relationship that says, okay, in the most ideal world, one to one. Right? But it's not an ideal world. Sometimes it's one to many on this side, sometimes many to one on this side, and then sometimes many to many. Wow.
Life is good again.
So cool. Anyway, this was a bad example, but let's think about another one. Okay, customer, bank account, customer and account. Say this is a teller application or a bank application, and then we have a customer entity and we have a teller. We have an account entity. What is the relationship between customer and account? Customer has a. Okay. Has a. So that's the realize that the relationships are pretty much said as a English word. Has a. Customer has an account. How many accounts can a customer have?
Many.
Many are, right? And how about an account? Of,
Well, joint account code here.
there you go. There you go. Most people always think, oh, an account belongs to a customer. And suppose this was the case and nobody really paid attention to it. And the database was created based on this ER model.
No joint account. Nobody can do an account.
All of a sudden, the business team will come back and say, yeah, we offer joint account. Technical teams will say, no, we don't offer joint account because when we did ER modeling, no one told us that this design is wrong. If the business team, the BA signed off on this, then we are pretty much stuck with a solo account. A customer can have multiple accounts, but I'm sorry, the way we designed our database, because ER model directly translates to database design. So if your design is flawed like this, your business will not be able to offer whatever it wants to offer. So therefore, this better be made one to many. Many to many, sorry. An account can be...
Accounts, there can be like yesterday I was looking at a requirement where we specifically wanted that, a prepaid debit card sort of background. So in accounts there can be like debit and credit, and that would be a relationship which would be instances.
Absolutely. I don't even know if this, I'm ready to talk about that here. Maybe it's a separate one-off discussion between you and me, but you are right. In real life, actually there will be another entity called account type, which most people will not understand what I'm saying. Be another entity called account type, which will basically have exactly type name and type ID. Okay, and then so there will be every possible account type that we have in our bank: debit, credit, HELOC, mortgage, prepaid debit, college saving, blah 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 blah. And then an account type will also have a relationship. Account is of type is the relationship. Not an attribute. Well, you could make it an attribute, or you could actually do the right thing by making a separate entity of account type and creating a relationship between account and account type. So again, you can achieve database design through multiple various, ways of doing ER modeling, as long as eventually it solves the purpose. Right? Just like there are 2-story homes, 1-story homes, 5-bedroom homes, 2-bedroom homes. It just depends.
Kind of follows one of the 10 rules of the Boise curve rules that try to not make it complex, like make it small tables if possible.
You're talking about normalization, Boise curve. Good. So, by the way, when I did my database design course in West Virginia, it was a 6-month course, and we are doing it in 1 hour. So again, there's a lot to it. We're just getting in these first normal form, second normal form, third normal form, fourth normal form. These are all things. The discussions we are having about making it as an attribute here versus having separate is actually part of normalization. So, and you've done all that, right? You are a CS major, right? So, you were saying something about
that? Yeah, it's just that if we make the tables smaller, I think it's easier to handle changes and updates.
Right. Keep the information separate, have relationships. So, it becomes easy to maintain. But then the queries become slower because now you have to do joins and stuff like that. But yeah, trade-off. It's a trade-off. Everything in life is such a trade-off, right? So here account and account type cardinality is of type. They will be, an account can only be of one account type, but an account type will have many accounts. There'll be like multiple accounts of type savings, multiple accounts of type checking, but an account can only be of one account type. So that's again one to many, many to many. So in an ER model, the relationships could be one-to-one, one-to-many, or many-to-many. 3 types of cardinalities: one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-many. We just did an example of one-to-many. How about order and product? Is there a relationship between order and product? What is the relationship, Sumit? Huh? No, but first of all, give me the relationship name before you give me the cardinality. You would use the word consist. I was thinking of the word comprise. But, order comprises of. I want to use the word comprises of, but consists of is perfectly. Order comprises of product. Okay, now, so we know what is the cardinality? Many to many. Excellent. Many to many. Because an order will definitely have many products, right? I can place an order with 20 products in it. And the same product can show up in multiple orders. It's many to many.
Hello, can you explain what Gokul said just now? Like there is also a third option of showing.
No, I can't.
Arrows.
It's too much.
I never seen that.
I know. I think it's beyond the scope of this class. And I don't even know it that well to be able to explain it well. So it's beyond the scope of.
Even I saw this for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm to end.
Right. Somebody will be definitely. Yeah. I mean, this is all just FYI. Anything that we do in these areas, SQL, XML, wireframing, ER modeling is FYI. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't mean that you are going to be the owner. That would be, I don't think any BA that we've ever placed has ever had to take on upon themselves, because ER model is pretty much the framework of your application. They will not leave it in your hand. They will have senior database architects with 13 years of experience doing database modeling to do it for you. But you want to be involved and you want to be conscious of what they're doing. So it's not complete like double Dutch to what they're talking about. So when they say cardinality, relationship, they're talking about primary foreign key, join, indexing, then you at least have an idea. What are they talking about? It's yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I really think that Deepti and Meenakshi, you guys should both start interviewing. You should make up your resume, start interviewing. Because of your real world experience, that's why I'm saying. Right? I mean, you guys have been real QA engineers. Just get in the job market. Don't think, oh, it's slow. I don't think I'm ready. Just get in. Get an interview. Let's see how it goes. So, yeah, let's do it. Okay. So yeah, so we saw one to many, many to many. Okay. Let's just focus on this one to many relationship for now. Okay, so what happens now that you have your ER model? What next? Yeah, ER model has to be converted to a database schema. Schema means nothing but database tables. Roughly. Right? So ER now, ER model was just like on paper. You did it on the whiteboard or on paper. But now what? Now you have to create actual tables from it. When I say you, I mean the database team. So then the rules are, okay, the rules are entities should become what? Tables. Very nice. Attributes should become what? Become columns. Okay, so let's do that first of all. So we had the customer entity. So customer becomes a table with various columns like customer ID, customer first name, customer last name, customer C phone, C email ID, and C address. C phone, C email ID, and C address. Okay. Okay. All right. So there you go. Made my database. Made my table. The next table becomes, of course, the orders table. Can you name the columns for me, please? Order ID. And then order date. Yeah, amount. Yes, we could. Order type. What does that mean? Okay, got it. Fine. Order type. In fact, let's not make it complicated. Let's put order amount here also, which means that was one of the attributes. Okay, excellent, right? Okay, now so we've gotten the entities converted to tables, attributes converted to columns. What do we do with relationships? That's what Meenakshi was talking about 10 minutes ago. So let's talk about the concept of a primary key in the world of database design. So whenever you have an entity and corresponding attributes, there's one attribute from these various attributes that's supposed to be the unique attribute. Which one do you think is a unique attribute? ID, most probably. Because you as a company are the one who's assigning ID to customer. Right? I mean, that way even actually phone will be pretty unique if you think about it. But will everybody have a phone? Not necessarily. So that's why we can make it unique, because what if amount is not even a part of the attributes. Right? We are only thinking about the customer entity. So first name definitely can be unique. Last name can be unique. Email IDs can be unique, but then they can be empty. Address could be empty. Maybe the customer doesn't want to give an address. So yeah, I guess the most logical choice for a unique attribute is CID. So what you do is you underline it. In an ER model, when you underline an attribute, it's giving the visual indication that the ER modeler has decided this to be the unique attribute. In the order, of course, order ID. Okay. Customer ID, you know, like a unique ID we assign to each customer, right? Okay. So the unique attribute in the entity is called the primary key in the table. It's called the primary key in the table. Rajiv, you've read all this before, right? In the world of databases. You have a CS major? What do you have? MBA? From? Iowa State. Wow. How did you end up in Bay Area? Just friends or just? No, but you didn't talk to us from Iowa, right? Or did you talk to us from? Oh, you did. Achha, achha, achha. But no other like sort of connections here, friends, family, just wow. You know, when I came from West Virginia in 1993, 8 of us moved together, so it was a lot easier. We had 8 friends who graduated at the same time, and we moved to the Bay Area. Some of them went to DC, so at that time there were 2 places to go. DC, where all the, I had some friends. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and almost 8 out of 8, 6 were from Hyderabad. So, yeah, yeah.
How was life for 93?
I'm sorry, did I say 93? I'm sorry, 96. I graduated 96. I graduated 92 in India. No, it was good. The market was hot. I mean, yeah, we didn't, you know, H1s, people were like, you know, left and right doing H1s. No, I started my job at 55K. I mean, which was good. At that time, it was 55K, and today I'm also offering 55K, which is kind of, but I'm sorry.
93?
93, job market was very yeah, 93 maybe, yeah. 93 recession was going on, yeah. So. Yeah. But you've been here since then? Yeah. Oh, wow. I need to get to know you guys more. Because I, you know, hardly, that's why I need to go out for lunch. So, today you plan, no? Cool. Except that I have an RFE discussion from 12 to 1. We got an RFE on the I-140, which is very important for us, so. Who said oh? You did? Okay. Yeah. Acha. So anyways, coming back here, order ID becomes the primary key, right? So if somebody asks you what is the primary key in a table, you say, well, primary key is the column that uniquely identifies each row of the table, right? So for example, I'll have customers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, customer first name Alok, Naveen, Rachna, Godli, Jai. Last names, you know, so and so, phone numbers, blah blah blah. Right? Whatever the complete phone numbers are, right? Our email IDs, so on and so forth. But it is very possible that we might get another Alok, but this would be unique. It's possible to repeat first. Any other thing can be repeated. 2 people can have the same phone number. Maybe they share a phone number. They belong to the same company, right? Same email ID. But there's just no way that this can be duplicated. So yeah, that uniquely identifies each row. So when something is a primary key, then it must have a value. Can't be null. They use the word null. You know, null means it's possible that maybe somebody doesn't have, everybody has an email, but Rachna doesn't have an email. Right. It's possible that this is null. Sorry, that this is null. It's very possible. So yeah, null means just, null doesn't mean spaces. Null just means nothing, empty, no data. Okay, so you in primary, it must have a value, can't be null. It uniquely identifies, and uniquely identifies means can't duplicate, can't repeat. And the third thing that most people don't answer the question is, the database automatically generates what? No, not necessarily. I mean, that is an auto generation thing. Generates an index on the primary key column. And you don't know what that means yet, but we'll talk about that later. But you just need to memorize it. That whenever you specify a column as a primary key, then the database will say, okay, let me create an index on that column for the table. And we don't know what that means yet. We'll talk about index later, okay, when we do selects. So remind me, guys, to talk about index. I do want to maybe stop the class at 11:45, 11:50 to take questions from you guys, because we're getting into 2 weeks break. If you have questions about how should I spend the next 2 weeks or any other questions, right? Because at 12 o'clock I have another meeting that I can't delay. Huh? Dil bole Haripa?
How do I celebrate Haripa?
Yeah, I'll be in New York.
You'll be conducting the meeting from here, from classroom.
Kab? Next meeting?
No, like 12 to 1. You'll have some.
No, it's nothing to do with, no, it's not about, it's about RFE for a green card.
I want to see the ball.
No, I've done that before a couple of times. Now I'm more into like parties, home-based parties, 6, 7 friends getting together. Yeah. That's too much chaos, and it's so much, it's chaotic, and with kids, forget about it. Morning, yeah. And if you're not there since morning, Apple in the Times Square area in New York, which is the most happening, actually have a ball that drops from the tower down. It's like at 12 o'clock. Yeah. So, okay. Exactly. If you don't get there in the morning, then literally, then you don't even see it. It's somewhere, on one of those side streets. So, okay. So let's do this then. So now let's talk about the relationship. The relationship which is the belongs to, a one-to-many relationship. The third rule is rules. The rules were that entities become tables, attribute becomes column, and relationships take the primary key from one side of relationship and put it as a foreign key on the many side of this thing. You had to memorize. How do you deal with a one-to-many relationship? You take the primary key from one side of relationship and put it as a foreign key on the many side of relationship. So which is the one side of this relationship? Customer is the one side, because I have one on the customer side, M on the order side. So one side relationship is this. So I take the primary key from here, which is what? CID. Put it as a foreign key in. So I'll take CID and put it as a foreign key there. So this now is called the foreign key. Why is it the foreign key? Because it's the primary key of the other table, but we are borrowing it here. So suppose the order ID is A, B, C, D, order date. This order was placed on November 12th, 2009. This on December 1st, 2008. This was placed on December 18th, 2009. This was 1st, 09. And this was May 31st, 09. Okay, order type, whatever it is. Order amount, whatever it is. And then order A belongs to Alok. So I'm not going to put Alok here. I'll just put 1 here. And order B belongs to Naveen. So I'll put 2 here. Order 3 also belongs to Alok. I'll put 1 here. Order D belongs to Godhuli. So I'll put 4 here. And order E belongs to Jarin. So I'll put 5 here. So does Rachna have an order? No, she doesn't, but that's okay. She's a customer, but she hasn't purchased anything yet. And then for some reason, not for some reason, Alok seems to have multiple orders with us. So as this table grows, you keep adding the order information, and the person who's buying that order, primary key you put here. And so that's the foreign key. So what if my order table was literally like this, right? Let's remove this sixth one here because that was too. Okay. If my and now I tried to add an order called F on December 17th, 09, and I tried to add number 7 here. Would this be legal? Exactly. If I try to add this, the database will throw back an error at me. Anybody knows what that error is called? Primary? No, not primary key constraint violated. Primary key constraint violated error will happen if I try to insert another one with, say, Rima. Then it will say primary key constraint violated. Yeah, exactly. It will say foreign key constraint violated. In fact, some databases will also say referential integrity constraint error violated or something, right? Referential integrity constraint error. Referential integrity constraint. It's a very fancy word, but if you think about it, it just says this. If you're trying to insert 7 here, there is a problem with this data. The problem is that this doesn't have a reference back to the primary, to the customer's table. And therefore, let's say your referential integrity has been violated. You cannot insert a customer ID here unless you first insert it there. So first you insert a new customer there, and then you insert your orders here. Otherwise it will say referential integrity constraint violated, and it will not insert this data here. How many people have done these things before? Sumit, Deepti, Meenakshi, Jyoti, Kusuma. Okay. And right. Okay. And then on the phone, guys, I wanted to know, just raise your hands. How many people have gone through, SQL and inserts and updates and deletes and joins and indexes and foreign keys and primary keys? How many people? Do not have option to raise hand, because you are I made you a presenter. That's why. Okay. So 3 hands have been raised. Deepti Bhandari has done it. Okay. Denver. Madhumita has done it. Madhu, you did it in my class before, or have you done it even before my class? And Shefali has done it. So, okay, good. Not a lot of people. So it's the first time concept for a lot of people. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Okay. So there you go. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about, because this is not an advanced database class, it's a BA class, I'm not going to talk about what happens to many-to-many relationship. We'll leave that for advanced concepts. Again, as you know, most of the time, 99% chances, well, not 99, there's 100% chance that you will not do this. You will be given fully fleshed out tables, databases, you just have to query them. But this is just all FYI. So in case one of those interviews happen where they want you to be everything, right? They want everything. Then it's so funny. Amy told me yesterday that she sent a position to a candidate, an external candidate. It was a Java position. The guy wrote back, apparently your client wants me to be a superhuman. I will not take this requirement. I pass. But we can't do that. I mean, we will attempt any position that comes our way. We don't have that luxury, oh, I'm going to pass this position. So sometimes we, in our interviews and our requirements, we'll realize, wow, they're expecting your VA to be, a developer, a designer, a requirement specialist, excellent comm skills, and we'll still go for it. For BA, they'll ask. I don't think so. Maybe your experience has been like that the BAs that you worked with were all ex-developers and needed like I'm a BA with ex-development experience, but I don't think it's a requirement. In fact, 99% requirements I have seen do not say must be an ex-developer. Sometimes we get, I agree. Right, exactly. And then we attempt even those. We'll attempt anything that comes our way. Huh?
If you don't have experience, but I think if you in the resume.
Yeah, you put it in the resume and somehow try to justify it. And if you get the job, then somehow try to do your job. If you can't do it, then you get laid off and the next position comes along. Only we've had 3 people who were laid off in the last 3.5 years. Within the first month, they realized that this person overpromised in the interview. And then they just, they let you go. But that's okay. It's not like they, hold you by your ear and walk you out. They don't do that. They'll just politely, they'll actually be very polite and they'll say, it's not, they'll give you also some reason, the project funding, dried up, or we are, they'll not say that you suck. They'll just say, sorry, it's not working out. They might say it's not working out, or they'll just say, the project is on hold. The moment they let you go, the next guy comes in. Somebody was trying to say something.
Yeah. If there is an opening in particular team, or they need some people, is there like that team will review that requirement? How does the requirement come up with?
Yeah, how does the requirement even come up in a team? If with the team, most probably the team lead or the team manager.
Is the guy really aware of
what he needs, exactly. So, or he will just tell the HR manager, I need a guy with Java. And then the HR, can you give me more? He's like, I don't have time. I am hanging up. And then the HR manager looks up in his database of Java positions and, creates a position description. Might be so off from what what the manager needs. All kinds of things happen in real world. Ideal situation though is what you're saying, that the technical lead or the hiring manager actually spends an hour drafting a position. But in real life, who knows if somebody has that kind of time? They might. Generally that makes sense, sort of, right? Yeah, that person who's interviewing you is the one who created that position. Yeah, possible. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm not going to talk about many-to-many relationship. And in a one-to-one relationship, it's simple. Just take the primary key from one side and put as a foreign key on the other side. It doesn't matter which you put. You put from here to here or here to here. It's the same thing, because so one-to-one, we know what needs to be done. Take the PK from one side, put it on the FK on the other side. In one-to-many, take the PK from the one side, put as a foreign key on the many side. Many-to-many, I'm not covering in this class. Maybe you should cover on your own. And that's where, again, that extra effort that you put in comes into play. All I can tell you is that when there's a many-to-many relationship like this, a brand new table has to be created with primary key from here and primary key from there, as 2 foreign keys into this table that's getting created. But, again, beyond the scope of this course. Alrighty, guys, let's get into SQL. Actually, 11:46. Okay, so it's good. You know what you guys should do for the next class? You need to for those of you who guys are home, and even who guys are here and you want to do this at home, download Oracle 10G XC. So just go to Google, Oracle 10G XC. Oracle Database 10G XC stands for Express Edition. Is an entry-level, small footprint, 150 megabyte database based on Oracle Database 10G. So it's a fully functional database. It's just that it is, limited in space, which means you can't put millions of rows over there. But we're going to put 10 rows over there, so not a big deal. It still gives us a very good idea about what it is all about. So then you'll click Oracle Database 10G Express Edition. Then you'll go to download Oracle Database 10G Express Edition. And of course, you'll not choose Linux. You'll choose Windows. Then it will ask you, do you want to accept? You say accept. You might have to create an Oracle Technology Network user ID password, right? Maybe it's not asking me. Maybe it is. I don't know. It is. So Oracle Technology Network. Just create a username password. Sign up now. So, it's one of those softwares that doesn't let you just download it free. Well, it is free, but it makes you work for it. Create your Oracle account now, and then just create an Oracle account. That's it, as simple as that. And then go back here and just download it and install it. The only thing that you have to remember while installing, well, once it downloads this 165 megabytes file, then you double click on it, go through the wizard, the install shield. A point will come, it will ask you to put in the password. That is a password you must remember, because that is a password you'll use to log into the database. So then if you don't remember that password, or you put in some garbage that you don't remember, then your installation will be useless. You'll have to reinstall it. So that's the only little caveat, that while installing, a point will come, everything else is default. Just keep choosing default, 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 next, 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 next. Yeah, these systems have it. Yeah. So just go ahead and install these. For SQL, yeah, we'll use SQL to play with our database. Do some inserts, do some updates, do some deletes, do some joins. So create a view. The tutorial, that's a good question. So download this, get it installed, and then w3schools.com. Then say learn SQL. w3schools.com, learn SQL, and then go ahead and go through this tutorial in its entirety. Right? What is SQL? What can SQL do? And what is, and then just like we created a table called customers, there's a persons table. We'll create this table. Then we will learn that SQL is not case sensitive. Why do we need to put a semicolon after SQL statements? What's the difference between SQL, DML, and DDL? Structured query language, data manipulation language, and data definition language. Then we'll talk about all these things. So I think we'll do SQL for one whole day, which is Monday, 4th of Feb. Yeah, Jan, thank you. Are these guys raising their hands to tell me?
Alok, we didn't have class on Monday and Tuesday, right?
Yeah, no class next week. No class week after. The next class is on the 3rd week.
Hello.
Okay.
Ideally, yes, right? That's per the rules. I think maybe you guys should study a couple of hours every day. I think so. Let's do it. That's fine, wherever you go. When I go to Las Vegas, I literally do my conference calls from the Vegas hotel. Do it, na? ठीक है ना? Just continue that enthu. Seriously. Actually I'm very bummed out about this holiday. We have never done this before, a 2 weeks gap in between. So I'm really afraid that you'll, lose the momentum that you have right now. So please keep the momentum, whatever the best you can do. Yeah, let's do a quiz on Monday when we come back. Easy. Yeah. No. Yeah.
And whatever we covered.
Yeah. Any smart analysis? Yeah, you asked me about SWOT, and I don't know. You asked opportunities and SWOT analysis. Oh, SMART. I had strength. What does M stand for? Smart. The must be typo. I don't know. Well, so yeah, we'll talk about SWOT analysis at one time. I mean, SWOT analysis is really, it's not really inherently a BA role. It's actually a marketing role. People who've done MBAs, see you, happy holidays, is, strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat. I'm sure we can make a story about it. I don't cover that as an integral part of this course, but we can make a story about pretty much anything we want. Other questions? Okay, so I guess we kind of got done early. We could have gone till 11:50 and then taken questions. Let's see. Also, can you spend some time on coming Monday with me? Need your inputs, go over some important. So yeah, Shefali, this is about your resume. Let me just address that question also. So when you guys are thinking of making a resume, I would like you guys to take the recruiters as your first point of contact, because the recruiters generally have more bandwidth than me. You know, they have lesser number of students per recruiter, and they are pretty well versed with what the resume should look like. And I wouldn't have the bandwidth to sit with you from day one about your resume. So you, of course, take it on your responsibility, on your shoulders, that you are the owner of your resume. Take the recruiters as a bouncing, board, sounding board to get ideas from them. And then once the recruiter has blessed your resume, as in, I am happy with your resume, at that time I step in and give you my expert tips, if any, at that time. Mostly it's not even that I have to do anything after that, because recruiters will tell you that your resume sucks, has no chance of getting picked up, right? So, yeah. One sec. So Shefali, part of it, yes, right. Have these important things and decision-making things have been gone over with your recruiter? Because again, my basic stand always is your recruiter is your single point of contact, and I am the second escalation point. So definitely, I'm not pushing you back. I want to make sure though that everything has been discussed with the recruiter and things are, I think it should be all done, Shefali, through your recruiter. And if the recruiter is not able to answer, or you have a disagreement with the recruiter that she's saying one thing, saying another thing, then maybe I can step in as a third person to resolve the differences. Okay. Done?
After making the resume, we work on the write-ups.
You work on the write-ups, yeah?
Normally, we put random projects.
Normally, you're putting, random, random projects.
Or banking.
बैठ जाओ अभी बातें हो रही हैं.
Or something like that.
This will benefit you, is what I'm saying.
When I came to a particular question, like what was the environment used?
What was the environment used?
But when I check online and like I put the Commerce Bank programmer needed. So I see in the job description they require .NET or Java. So I put like that. But my 5 projects will have 5 different technologies used. So can I use all Java or J2EE or all .NET, whatever I am studying after this time for the questions?
Good question. Let me repeat the question for people on the phone. There will be like say 5-6 projects on your resume, and the 5-6 projects